What if I told you that 99% of your problems don't actually exist right now? That your anxiety, stress, and unhappiness are created by something you're doing with your mind at this very moment? Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now reveals a truth so simple, yet so profound. It's transformed millions of lives worldwide, including mine. Most of us are never actually here. We're replaying yesterday's argument while brushing our teeth. We're rehearsing tomorrow's conversation while our kids are trying to talk to us. We're scrolling through our phones during dinner, missing the actual taste of our food. Our minds are time machines stuck on autopilot, bouncing between regret about the past and anxiety about the future. And while we're lost in this mental noise, life is happening right now and we're completely missing it. The result? Chronic stress, constant dissatisfaction, and a nagging feeling that something's wrong even when everything is technically fine. This is where the power of now becomes a game changer. Tolle doesn't offer another productivity hack or positive thinking strategy. Instead, he reveals something revolutionary. The present moment is all you ever have. The past is a memory. The future is imagination. The only reality is now. The book teaches you how to recognize when you're trapped in your mind, that voice in your head that never stops commenting, judging, and worrying. Tolle shows you that you're not that voice, you're the awareness behind it. Through simple but powerful practices, you learn to create space between you and your thoughts, to observe your ego without being controlled by it, and to access a deeper intelligence that exists beyond your thinking mind. It's not about stopping thoughts, it's about changing your relationship with them. When you do this, something miraculous happens. Peace becomes your default state, not something you have to chase. Imagine waking up without that immediate rush of anxiety about your to-do list. Picture having a difficult conversation without getting emotionally hijacked. Envision actually enjoying your morning coffee instead of mindlessly gulping it down while checking emails. Readers of this book report profound shifts, chronic anxiety melting away, relationships deepening, creativity flowing more freely, and a sense of aliveness they haven't felt since childhood. One reader called it the most important book I've ever read. Oprah dedicated an entire webinar series to it. Why? Because it doesn't just change what you think, it changes how you experience reality itself. You start noticing beauty you walked past 1,000 times. Challenges that used to devastate you become manageable. And that constant background hum of dissatisfaction? It dissolves when you stop resisting this moment and start embracing it. If you're tired of living on autopilot, if you're ready to stop being tortured by your own thoughts, and if you want to discover a peace that doesn't depend on your circumstances being perfect, this book is your roadmap. The Power of Now isn't just theory, it's a practical guide with exercises you can start today. Right now, actually. Because now is all you have, and it's where your life is waiting for you. Pick up this book, commit to practicing its teachings, and watch your entire world shift. Trust me, your future self will thank you. Actually, scratch that, your present self will thank you. Hit that like button if this resonated, subscribe for more life-changing book breakdowns, and drop a comment telling me, what's one thing stealing your presence right now? Let's begin. 1. Living in the present moment. The core message of Eckhart Tolle's book is that true peace and happiness exist only in the present moment. Most of our suffering comes from dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. When you're fully present, you're free from the constant mental chatter that creates anxiety and dissatisfaction. For example, imagine you're having coffee with a friend, but your mind is racing about tomorrow's presentation at work. You're physically there, but mentally absent. You miss your friend's words, the taste of your coffee, the warmth of the moment. When you practice presence, you actually hear what they're saying, you notice the rich aroma, and you feel genuinely connected. That's when life actually happens. 2. The pain body, understanding accumulated emotional pain. Tolle introduces the concept of the pain body, accumulated emotional pain from your past that lives inside you. This pain body feeds on negative thoughts and drama, and it can take over your thinking and behavior unconsciously. Recognizing it is the first step to freedom. For example, think about someone who overreacts to minor criticism at work. Their boss makes a small suggestion, and suddenly they're devastated, angry, or defensive for hours. That's the pain body activated. Old wounds from childhood or past experiences are triggered, and they're not really responding to the present situation, but to accumulated past hurt. When you recognize this pattern, you can observe it rather than being controlled by it. 3. The ego and false identity. Your ego creates a false sense of self based on your possessions, achievements, relationships, and story about yourself. The ego constantly needs validation and feels threatened easily. True self exists beyond this mental construct. The ego keeps you trapped in past and future thinking. For example, consider someone who loses their job and feels like they've lost their identity entirely. "I was a manager at that company" becomes "I am nothing now." Their entire self-worth was tied to a job title. Or think about someone scrolling social media, feeling inadequate because others seem more successful. That's ego comparing and suffering. When you realize you're not your job, your achievements, or your story, you discover a deeper sense of peace that doesn't depend on external circumstances. 4. Acceptance and surrender. Acceptance doesn't mean passive resignation. It means acknowledging what is without resistance. When you fight against reality, you create suffering. Surrender means accepting the present moment as it is, then taking appropriate action if needed. Resistance to what is creates the majority of human suffering. For example, you're stuck in traffic and getting increasingly frustrated, honking, cursing, feeling your blood pressure rise. The traffic doesn't change, you just suffer more. Acceptance means acknowledging there's traffic, I can't control it. Suddenly you relax, maybe put on music or a podcast, and arrive at your destination in a completely different state of mind. Or imagine being diagnosed with an illness. Acceptance isn't giving up. It's saying this is the situation now, and then taking constructive action without the added burden of resentment and "why me" thinking. 5. The power of observation and awareness. Creating a gap between the thinker and thoughts is transformative. You are not your thoughts, you're the awareness behind them. By observing your thoughts without judgment, you diminish their power over you. This witnessing consciousness is your true self. For example, you're lying in bed at 2 a.m. and anxious thoughts are spiraling. "I'll never finish that project, I'm going to fail, everyone will judge me." Normally, you'd be completely identified with these thoughts, believing them entirely. But when you practice observation, you think there's an anxious thought, and another one. My mind is creating worst-case scenarios. You're watching the thoughts like clouds passing by rather than being swept away by the storm. This simple shift creates space and peace, and often those thoughts lose their grip entirely. So let's bring this all together. The Power of Now has given us 5 transformative insights. Live in the present moment, not in mental time travel. Recognize your pain body and stop feeding old emotional wounds. See through the ego's false identity and discover your true self. Practice acceptance and surrender to what is. And become the observer of your thoughts, not their prisoner. These aren't just concepts to understand, they're practices that rewire how you experience every single moment of your life. But here's what this really gives you: freedom. Freedom from the tyranny of your own mind. Freedom from needing everything to be perfect before you can be at peace. Freedom from carrying yesterday's baggage into today. You get your life back not someday when you achieve that goal or fix that problem, but right now, in this moment. And that freedom? It doesn't cost anything, it doesn't require permission, and nobody can take it away from you. It's the ultimate liberation, and it's been available to you all along. Think about this. Every moment you spend lost in thought is a moment of your actual life you will never get back. Your children growing up, your loved ones sitting across from you, the sunrise outside your window, all missed while you're trapped in mental narratives about problems that mostly don't even exist. The cost of staying unconscious isn't just stress and anxiety, it's life itself, slipping through your fingers while you're somewhere else in your head. So here's my challenge to you. For the next 24 hours, practice presence. When you catch yourself spiraling into past or future, gently bring yourself back to now. Feel your breath. Notice what you're seeing, hearing, touching. When you eat, actually taste your food. When someone talks to you, truly listen. Start with just one fully present moment, then another, then another. The right time is always now. Read it slowly, practice the exercises, and watch your relationship with reality transform. Remember Tolle's powerful words. Realize deeply that the present moment is all you have. Make the now the primary focus of your life. Your life is waiting for you, not tomorrow, not when things settle down, but right here, right now. Will you finally show up for it?